Okay. I'm about to have a good day. I'm about to have a good day.
All right. Hello. I'm Greg McCullough, and we're coming to you again from the AlterSelfMindset set, where we're today going to discover and explore another one of the great laws, which is the law of sacrifice. The law of sacrifice. In a lot of the other laws that we've studied, we work with the greater law, which is called give and it shall be given. Give and it shall be given. The dynamic for it is evident in most of all the law that we understand, even physical law, especially spiritual law. It's give and it shall be given. So, in all of our thoughts and our deeds and all the things that we do, we have to set in tonality what they are in establishment. Okay, to be able to establish a great truth or a law, it has to identify with the premise of physicality and spirituality. So let me read a verse here just to get us kicked off. It's in Romans 12, verse 1. It says, I beseech ye, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And I think of all the things in the premise in the Bible, we understand sacrifice in the original, Old Testament to be one of animals, one of the blood shed of animals. And I think we did this along the lines of time. People were sacrificing animals to a holy God that lived on the inside of them, of people. God lives on the inside. A lot of people think God lives in a foreign galaxy somewhere, like waiting to come here. And God lives in the depth of man. He lives in his greater thoughts and his depth. He lives in his change way down deep. Okay, so when I say that, God's able to come here and do things for us through the law, I mean it is a law that works with flesh just the same as it works with spirituality. We have to learn to use these laws. Right? Like we can't ignore the laws that are here. Like if you ignore gravity, you can say, well, I don't believe gravity. Well, me and you both you jump on top of the building and hop off and I'll see you at the hospital. Because gravity hasn't got any respect of persons. It's a law and it works with your thoughts. If you make the choice to jump off the building, the law is real and then it's identified. So people have to go through these things of making choices, and to experience the mercies of God sometime. Anyway, so the law of sacrifice is this, the choice, I think, of discipline. Okay? The choice of discipline. If you think about what brings about events and a change in this world, you'll see it's people's efforts in the sacrifice to themselves in the area of discipline, in putting things in order. Okay, we know that the first law and the first rule of heaven is order. Because when man establishes order, he first gives over the power of authority to God. And when he does this, then he can start becoming professional or pro at what it is because he has the Godhead in mind. He has the more powerful expression leading the way. Okay, and he does this through acknowledgement. All right. So once he acknowledges the inspiration is trying to move him to go away in life, and then he pays attention to that, then he can bring the power to it through choice and decision. Okay. To go further in his idea or become more in this world. But it'll certainly take discipline. It won't be able to come into this world as a fact unless it identifies with the two sides. And the law is what brings it all the way here. This discipline has to be something that you choose. Okay. It has to be consciously chosen. It has to be something you really deeply want to have. It could be you want to be a great friend to someone, or it could be you're trying to be a mother, or you're trying to own a business, or you're trying to teach a group of people, right? Or you're trying to bring light and clarity to things that have been hidden. Whatever it is that you're trying to become more of, it'll take desire and it'll take discipline. And then all you have to do, basically is you just set things in order, make yourself some standards, and don't do anything less than that. Okay, because this discipline brings about moral character. Okay, this brings about the idea of change to the character that you would want to become inside. Okay. Now you can change everything on the outside and it still won't get you to work with the law. You got to work on yourself on the inside. You got to make sacrifice to yourself. You can't sacrifice the blood of animals. Or let me say this, another different way to look at it. You can't sacrifice this animal skin. This thing you got that hears, sees, smell, taste, and touch regulates all that it understands. You have to work in identification with the spirit through inspiration, through desire, and developing that. Okay. And so discipline, I think, is the number one word we need to understand here. It's the difference between what makes a great ball player or a guy who's just average. It's a discipline. It's the times he spent in the gym, the time he spent getting rid of the old self. Okay. And I'll discover that in a minute with you through a thing called the paradigm. But it's a sacrifice. Of the times when you wanted to do things you wanted to do, but instead the character of what you wanted to become desired from you more. It wanted you to cut off that old self and become more, become the new expression in life. Okay. And it's a necessity too. Sacrifice is a necessity. You can't just ignore this. You didn't like, if I'm an adult, I once was a child. I had to sacrifice becoming an adult the whole way. And so what did it take? It took discipline. I had to try and bring myself to the place where I was giving myself orders and following it. Okay. You'll know when you're practicing a disciplined life, if the way you used to be wants to run things and you allow it to. You got to set yourself some order. You got to set yourself some discipline and you got to give yourself some standards where you don't go backwards. You say that the new guy doesn't do this. Okay. People want to talk about having the new birth, but they don't give it any description. It's like telling carpenters to start working on your house without a house plan. Man, you can't build anything in this world unless first you make a plan. Right? And God did this. He did it through sacrifice. He did it on the cross. It's called the plan of salvation. Okay? So all you have to do is believe in this, and then once you become aware of it, then that's salvation. So the idea is that people need to understand that the sacrifice has to be made in the way we think. Okay? It's our thoughts. It's how we control our thinking. Okay. We work in the process of seed sowing. Every thought with emotion that we put into it becomes a crop. And you got a crop coming all the time, whether you ignore it or not. You and I both know that even if you don't plant weed seeds in the garden, they're going to come in. That's the part of you in representation where the bad things are going to come in. You got to try and work on your character enough to get yourself to where you can be a good friend. If you won't work on your character, you're not going to have good friends. If you want to work on the character of having a wealthy life, that's good. And I say money's a good thing. Money's certainly a good thing. You have to have it to live. You have to have it to make other people's lives better if you want to. You got to have it to spend time for yourself, or invest to make your life better. So money's a good thing, but it's not wealth. Your health is a very valuable thing. Your peace of mind. Okay. So all those things can be obtained just by this, by sacrificing this old self. And this old self works on a thing called a paradigm. And this paradigm is an idea that you had developed all your whole life. It happens through some of your environment while you were a child. It happens some through what you were taught in school, or maybe what you weren't taught in school. It was the lessons that maybe you should have gotten along the way. You were just too stubborn to take. Okay. And then that develops the character you are. Now, when you get old enough to understand, you say, oh, okay, now I understand there's a pattern for getting rid of this old self. It's called the new birth. It's the new birth. Okay. Once you think you've obtained all this spirituality and all this religion and all this conformed idea, there still has to be the new birth. There still has to be the new birth. The new birth is when a man gives birth to the idea that he wants to obtain. He wants to have it in his life, and he's focused on it continually. He wants to have it as his bride. He wants to have it as a thing known as a wife. Okay, it's his best idea. And you have to be in, to learn success, the definition of it is to be in progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Okay? You'd have to have what makes a life ideal for me, and the ideas and the truths that make life ideal for me. Not that you'd live by everybody else's standards, that you'd set your own and that it would feel good. Okay? The Bible says this, it says, you are free indeed. Okay. It's a part about ownership. Free indeed. I know it's one word, but indeed is a thing that you give over to a house. Okay. And where our body is the house of God. Okay. When we hand over the deed and we set the order straight, where we got this entity moving through us, the potential of God moving through us, and we're going forward with our ideas, then we can then expect to give, all that's coming with the law. You can't expect it any other way. It's given, it shall be given. Okay? Ask, and you shall find. It's knocking, it shall be opened unto you. All these things, they're a place where you have to make a progressive choice. Okay? But it says in John 8, verse 36, is if the Son of Man shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. Okay? Freedom's a choice. It's a discipline, an orderly life. Okay. If you want to know what is freedom, it's not a life where you just throw your hands up in the air and say, well, whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to live every day, take it as it comes, without any order at all. I'm just going to do what everybody else tells me. I'm not going to seek advice from God. I'm not going to try and go forward with my imaginations and about my potential that God's trying to inspire me to release. You say, I won't go with any of that. Just realize that the law's at work the whole time you do. Every time you have a thought, every time you entered into the mind of God about denying this process, you've ignored it. Okay? The Bible says, I would not have you ignorant, brethren, concerning the mercies of God. So the fact that you would pay it attention, the fact that you would observe this, the fact that you would go forward in inspiration, this is the fact of salvation. This is when people make a committed decision. This is people, when I say people, I just use people as a general term, men, women, the preacher, whoever it is that you're trusting for advice, they have to make committed decisions. They have to commit to having the character that it'll take to get you to go to the next level. And when you change characters, you change this thing called the paradigm. Okay. Your paradigm is basically, like I told you, it's this process of you growing up and learning the things you know. It's your habits. It's a multitude of habits, beliefs, ideas, things you've learned over the years. So it's your job to try and sacrifice that old one to become the new one that you design. You can take a piece of paper, design the life that you'd love to have right on the piece of paper, and continually think about it all the time. Put your thoughts and investments into the idea of how it would feel to be the character you designed on paper, and you can change your self-image. If you'd like to know more about these things or about how this law works or about, any of these things you'd have a question about, please write us. Please give us a shout out, like our channel, subscribe to it. I'd love to teach you more. And until next time, I thank you for your attention and signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm about to have a good day. I'm about to have a good day.